This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 467 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products and Total Saddle Fit. Tonight, we will be speaking with Natasha Springer-Levine about her business, Event Clinics. We're also going to finish up with Training Level Test 3, and of course, we've got a great trainer tip.
Stanfield from Georgetown, Kentucky.
And this is Philip Parks from Rockwood, Ontario, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show. And we've got our favorite producer. Well, we can't say favorite producer, but we've got a producer.
What do you mean you can't say favorite?
Well, I can't lie.
Phil, he's our boss. You have to lie.
Yeah, that's right.
What are you doing?
How about you can do this? You could say one of your favorite.
One of our favorite. We love it.
Yeah, that would have been the diplomatic way to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm usually pretty good at that. But I'm just joking.
Well, hi guys. Thanks for letting me produce your show.
Yeah. Excited to have you, Glenn, as always.
He must be suffering from a bout of insomnia because he comes on our show and falls asleep by the end.
I need a good rest tonight, so I volunteered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll send you out there, Glenn.
Very good. Thanks for joining us anyways.
Yeah.
I do have some WEG news for you if you want it.
Okay, yeah, we'll maybe get into some WEG stuff today.
Yeah, I have some of that too. You want it now? So, individual competition tickets finally went on sale for the World Equestrian Games on May the 2nd. And that means that if people want to come and watch Grand Prix at Dressage or whatever, as long as there's tickets available, they can get them at tryon2018.com. Before that, only group tickets were available where you had to buy all of Dressage or, all of eventing or all of driving. Now you can buy individual events, and what's left you can find at tryon2018.com. I don't think they're selling out of too many things at this point. Also, Reese, I know that money is not an issue for you. So the hospitality packages are available. And
really?
Do you want to hear what they run?
Of course.
So if you get the Dressage Full Discipline, which is the whole package, you get a table and you can get a club, and it offers, breakfast service and a lunch buffet and a premium bar and afternoon snacks. It's called the Summit Club, and you can get a private table for 6. And for the run of Dressage, that will set you back $15,000 plus. Now,
I like its nice round number.
Yes, but I'm not sure why it's plus. We haven't figured out.
Plus, where's the plus?
Oh, plus is taxes and a 4% processing fee. So you're probably looking at closer to $16,000 for a table of 6. Mm-hmm. But you get in the building and.
Hey, they're fun. If you get the tables, they are a lot of fun.
Now I will tell you this, and not to be all negative, but the building that these are going to be in is just a steel frame at this point. I saw pictures of it as of last week, and it's steel girders. They don't have any of the other parts done.
It'll be fine.
By the way,
what other news do you have, Glenn? You guys, which is great. This is a good plug for your show. If you are going to the WEG, Glenn has a fantastic show. Tell us about it, Glenn.
It's called the 2018 WEG Show. Samantha Clark and I do that. We did a WEG show for 2010 when it was in Kentucky as well. And it's 2018wegshow.com. We do 2 episodes a month. And then during the World Equestrian Games, we do a daily wrap-up show at 7 p.m. each night. So we'll be doing live wrap-up shows every night and putting those out for all 14 nights of the World Equestrian Games. Reese and Philip are going to come in and help with the dressage part of that. So, and we cover every event. We cover even the things that aren't competitions, like some of the other events that are going to be going on. We bring in musicians. We just have a lot of fun with it. And it's a good show if you want to get caught up at the end of every night. That is if they do have the media center done. But by the way, the media center is the first floor of that building that is just steel framed at this point. So, and the second and third floor will be the Summit Club. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So we all might have air conditioning is They don't have the
That
walls.
sounds good too.
Which should be nice, but I would think the weather in September is going to be nice.
It should be nice. It should
Usually
be fine.
should be nice. Should not too hot, not too cold.
They
be
have
nice.
told the athletes that the housing and the hotels that they said would be done on grounds are not going to be done.
Yeah.
So they will be staying off property. They reserved 1,000 hotel rooms as close as they could get, which is a half an hour to an hour away. So at this point, the one thing that we're hearing from everybody, including people coming and athletes and just people attending, is housing is the big issue. So if you're planning on coming at all, and get your hotels booked wherever you can.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you're not going to be. It's not going to be like Kentucky. If you haven't booked yet, you're probably not going to be within an hour. It's going to be a drive. It's not going to be like Kentucky where they had a ton of hotel rooms real close between Georgetown and Lexington. You're going to be in Charlotte. You're going to be in Asheville if there's any left. You're going to be down in Greenville. All of those are an hour or more away. So you're just that's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Or find a friend with it and bring a camper.
Yeah.
I
we spent a lot on the rooms that we rented a house, and I thought we were spending a lot until I figured out what it's going to cost to rent the hotel rooms much further away. So I'm kind of glad we rented the house when we did.
So are we.
Yeah.
Go, Glenn. Glad you did it.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Horse Radio.
It's turning out to be cheap, what I thought was expensive.
Right.
But it's only 10 minutes away, so I'm real happy about that. Now, parking, apparently, from what we're hearing, it is going to be off-site and people are going to be bussed in. That's what I'm hearing right now, unless that changes.
That kind of makes sense for some of these things, right?
Yeah, they had originally said all parking was going to be on grounds, but I don't think they've secured the property they need to at this point.
Right.
So that's what all of this, by the way, is fluid and changing every announcement we get.
Yeah.
So if you want,
well, you're going to have to stay up to date on the podcast.
That's right.
I know, exactly. That's why you're doing the podcast, which is perfect.
And it's also on the Horse Radio Network app too. Just look for the 2018 WEG show. And Samantha's good. She's from England and knows a lot of these people, and we just cover every discipline, all 8 of them.
That's so cool. Well, that's so exciting. Well, we actually
staying with the WEG theme here. I thought the American short list has been published. Maybe that was 2 or 3 weeks ago, but we thought we'd stay as up to date as we can, and maybe let everybody know who you're hopefully going to be cheering for.
Yeah. So we have Shelly Francis from Loxahatchee, Florida, and Patricia Stemple's 14-year-old Hanoverian gelding, Danilo. We have Laura Graves from Geneva, Florida, with her and Kurt May's 16-year-old Dutch Hornblood gelding, Verdatus. Ashley Holzer from New York, and Diane Fellow's 11-year-old Hanoverian mare, Havana. Olivia Logoy-Welts with her and Marianne McPhail's 14-year-old Danish warm-blood gelding, Lenoir. Adrian Lyle from Ketchum, Idaho, and Betsy Giuliano's 11-year-old Hanoverian stallion, Salvino. Casey Perry Glass with Diane Perry's 15-year-old gelding. Oh, I always have trouble with his name.
It's okay, Dublé. We'll just say Dublé.
Dublé?
Yeah, we always get we had her on, do you remember? And then
his Danish, very long name.
Yeah, she helped us, but we never really got it, did we?
Nope. No, we didn't. Stefan Peters from San Diego on Four Winds Farm 11-year-old Rylander Gare Rosamunda, and Four Winds Farm 10-year-old Dutch gelding Super Casper, and Sabine Shout-Carey from Twin Oaks, California, and Alice Womble's 12-year-old Hanoverian stallion
Cencio.
Thanks.
Yeah,
that's why I have to. He's so good at this. So they're actually off to Europe in a couple weeks, and
they're going to be competing in Compiègne, I think, and a few other competitions to find out who's going to be the final 4.
Yeah, so it's very exciting.
Good luck to all of them. Yeah,
wish them all good luck, and we'll hopefully keep some updating going along as they go. So that'll be great.
Has anything been announced in Canada, Phil?
No.
Okay.
So they have an ongoing update on the Equine Canada website that has the scores and the people and the candidates that are sort of in the leader. But we've got a big CDI coming up this week. Actually, that's why we're taping early. This is Monday, so that I'm on my way up there to, with a couple of students who are showing in the smaller show, not in the CDI. But I'm looking forward to seeing, who's going to be the people. Maybe I'll give an update when I get back.
Yeah, that'd be great. Fantastic. I know. It's Horse Show Week, Phil.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to think of all the things I need to pack because I'm going to be
Yeah,
gone
it's your
for
first horse show of the year,
6
isn't it?
days. Yeah. So it's a
6
little bit of a
days.
longer one.
Ooh, 6 days is a really long time.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Big show.
That is a long show. Long show. Do you show the whole time, Phil, or is that just because it's a long drive?
So we get in a day early, and what happens with this show is that they have test of choice happening on the first day. We get in, then we warm. We just sort of let the horses have a look around. We do a little bit of light riding in the evening on Wednesday, and then we have the option to show on Thursday and some test of choice. As another warm up. So we'll make the call then whether we're going to do that, and then the next 3-4 days is actual competition.
Got it.
So, yeah, it's good. This one's good for the first show of the season because we have a little extra long time there, and it's a great show facility up in Ottawa that has great facilities, great footing, great stabling. So it's a really nice show, very accommodating, show staff and everything. So
is it a far drive for you?
It is a little bit early for us because we still get snow here in May, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be beautiful, I think. So
nice.
Yeah. It's good.
Is it a far drive for you?
Yeah, it's about 6 hours.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty far.
It's not far, but it's, for one day.
It's far enough.
Yeah, it's far enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That's our plan.
Oh, cool. Well, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, go get it. Go have a great time. Well, we've got a great show today, and we're going to come back with a guest, Natasha, and she's going to tell us all about her new business.
The sun is just peeking above the tree line as you walk into the barn. You grab your horse's halter off the hook and head out to the field. The dew shimmers in the sun as you walk across the damp grass. You call his name and his head comes up as he walks toward you, looking for the apple in your pocket. You take your time grooming, enjoying the peace and quiet in the empty barn. A refreshing breeze greets you as you start down the tree-lined path. Your horse ambles along on a loose rein as you both enjoy a relaxing ride. The feeling you get on an early morning hack is why we do what we do at Kentucky Performance Products. This feeling is brought to you by Microphase. Fill the nutritional gaps in your horse's diet. Microphase Vitamin and Mineral Supplement is a low-calorie way to provide your horse with the vitamins and minerals missing from their diet. The horse that matters to you matters to us.
Well, tonight we are really excited to have Natasha from eventclinics.com. She is the Director of Dressage Outreach. Natasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here with you guys.
We are happy to have you. And I actually got to meet you in Florida briefly. So you told me about your company. And so tell us all about what we need to know about eventclinics.com.
So Event Clinics is a platform that was created to make organizers' lives a little easier. We're basically here to connect riders to opportunities that are happening nationwide and actually beyond the American borders. So we're now able to feature and promote and organize clinics in Canada, Mexico, the UK, etc. We feature clinics that are dressage-based, eventing-based. We actually have a horsemanship and cowworking clinic on our site right now, but there are tons of Olympians featured, which is incredible. And we also created software that allow schooling show organizers to run their schooling shows virtually. So lots to do on Event Clinics.
Yeah. So how would it work? Like, let's say I'm going to run a clinic here at the farm. What would I do and how does that work?
So all that you would do is create a username and password. And all you have to do is go into our website and it'll invite you to do that. And then you post the details of your activity and you set up EC Instant Pay, which is our revolutionary technology that allows you to process online payments without any fees. So that's why we're so unique, is because we don't cost organizers anything. We take that burden of payment away from the organizers because we know that people who own facilities, run facilities, they've got a lot of financial burden. So we didn't want to add to that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And for riders, it's even easier. So all you do is go to eventclinics.com, scroll through or search for what you're looking for, and then click to register.
That sounds super easy.
Yeah, it's ridiculously easy.
What's the inspiration behind? I mean, I can understand that it's really easy, but how did somebody kind of come up with this idea and put it into a useful system?
So the platform itself was built around the technology. So EC Instant Pay, the background for it is that it's a way that multiple people can get paid out from one payment. So let's say that I'm submitting payment that is then going to go to a facility for stabling, a clinician for teaching me, and I don't know, Reese for providing snacks. With my one submission of $300, that payment can then be diverted to those 3 people without any fees.
That
So
sounds
that's
really
pretty cool. So that's the practical background of it. The thing is, though, that Tara Swersey, who is our director and the founder of the company, she's a horse person herself, and she saw a niche that needed to be filled. So we're the only platform that you don't need to create a login to access what's going on, which is pretty incredible.
So I can go on it right now to see what's up, what's going on locally.
And you can even
internationally.
You can even register for stuff without creating a login. You can use, the guest feature.
Okay.
Wow.
Which of course then doesn't save your information, but many people prefer that. So we just wanted to make
with
these
all the
awesome
privacy stuff
opportunities
going
that are
on.
happening.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But our main thing is that we just want to bring opportunities to people. We want everyone to know that there's so much great stuff going on and you can learn from everything. So
That's really true. That's exactly right. It's
it's
amazing.
The shows are a good feature too. I think that makes it really easy for people who want to run, a local show or something that you can also do your payment and reservation on those as well. Is that right?
Absolutely. We're certainly hoping to grow to be able to accommodate USDF and EF recognized shows. But right now we're just for GMOs and farms putting on local shows.
So what is the hurdle of making it for USDF shows? What do you need to do to make that possible?
Everybody wants scoring capability and scheduling capability, and that's something that we have not yet developed, but we are working on it. So it's sort of in the back of our mind how best to do that.
Interesting. If I wanted to do like a private clinic, like let's say I didn't necessarily want it to go up, but I wanted everyone to be, that was in the clinic to have capability. Can you do that? Like, let's say if you're not doing an audit or you're not doing a big thing, can you do just a
as a payment only? Yeah.
Yeah, it's payment only.
I think right now the best way to do that would be to have people email you and say, hey, can I sign up? And to include in your sort of comments section that I really require you as an organizer to check in with me before submitting payment for this clinic. But we are seeing a huge uptick in organizers that want that discretion. So we're working on developing the capability to provide organizers that discretion through some sort of coupon code or some sort of access code that folks have to contact you in order to get and then sign up.
Excellent.
Yeah. So it's something that's in the works. We're rolling out a bunch of new developments right now. So that's in sort of our next round of development.
Fantastic. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's a fantastic, we've talked about it. We talked about it in Florida, and I would like to use it for my next clinic for sure. So how can people find you online and learn more about the service?
Well, easily enough, they can go to eventclinics.com and they'll see the full list as well as links to register for everything that we have to offer. And then if they want to see sort of what's going on in the background, we are on Facebook and Instagram as well as Twitter. And we post a lot of, I think, educational opportunities, obviously, but also we post some articles that have been written by our clinicians and ways to sort of get in touch with our clinicians that you might not otherwise have access to.
Cool. That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on and telling us all about your new business. We love it, and we want to keep hearing about it.
Absolutely. Well, we hope to keep working with you.
Fantastic. We'll stay in touch.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Well, Phil, that's a cool service if you are doing any clinics or anything this summer. So I hope people look into it and use it because it's a great idea. And anybody that's ever organized a clinic, it's like the bane of my existence. One of the reasons I don't like to have clinics, because it gets hard. It gets hard to collect money, and where does it go?
Well, people say they're going to come, they don't come, and then got a spot, and totally understand, totally get it. Yeah. So this will make it easy, and there are going to be much more clinics to attend and to teach, and it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. Well, very cool. Well, we are actually going to go to our second segment from our training level test 3 that we started last week. So we hope everybody enjoys. I like it. So then you're going to do, you're going to ride into the corner because you have an A medium walk. So the directive is asking for willing, calm transition, regularity, and quality of the walk. I think you really have to just prepare this transition because the horses are already a little bit backed off from the corner. So as you ride through that, right through the short side, you want to think of an uphill downward transition to walk. And I always think in a transition downward, again, I want the shoulders up, I want the haunches down, and I kind of want to melt into the walk, not splat into the walk. I don't think that works. How about you, Phil?
That's tricky. I mean, it's everything I just said about the canter to trot transition applies here as well.
Yeah.
All these downward transitions have to be sort of carefully practiced, carefully planned, carefully ridden on the day, right? So sometimes you have a horse that's very energetic and speedy and all gung-ho at home and gets into show ring is a little backed off, a little bit like, oh, I don't know what's going on here, and is not as confident and as speedy and gung-ho. So you have to feel in the moments and, kind of make corrections as things occur. So this is not your first downward transition. I mean, the first downward transition was at X at the beginning of the test. Yep. So you kind of have a sense of, okay, what's going on here, okay? If you've made a mistake in that first transition because you get something that you weren't expecting, well, now you got to expect it, right? Because you have you've done half the test basically. You know what's going on. You know how your horse feels. So everything from this walk and going forward, you should be prepared for more or less, right? If you have a horse, if your horse is a little lazy on the day, then you need to change your game plan and get on your aids a little bit. Or if your horse is now all excited and normally a bit of a plodder at home, is now at the show and is all excited, you have no excuse through the second half to not know what's going on, right?
Right.
So I always use the walk as a little bit of, from this transition, a little bit of mental preparation for my second half. I have to kind of evaluate what's going on. I have to, use my brain a little bit and then make a plan for my second half. So if whatever mistakes have happened are done.
Erase them. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's done.
Yeah, don't worry about what happened, but have an idea of what your plan for the second half is.
Yeah. So
normally the walk splits the test in two, basically. For the most, there's some instances it's not exactly in half, but again, if you don't take a moment to kind of figure out where you're at, then more mistakes are just going to keep piling up.
Right, and in this case, you're going to change direction. So it's also something to think about depending on your horse and which side is their stiff side, which is their hollow side. Maybe you've already done the harder side, or maybe you're going to the more challenging side after the free walk. So it's KXH free walk, KXH, that's important, H medium walk. So remember, this is actually a double scores as a coefficient, and they're looking for the regularity and quality of the walk, the reach and ground cover of the free walk, allowing complete freedom to stretch the neck forward and downward, straightness, willingness, and calm transitions. Be careful that you don't throw your horse away here. This is important, right? You don't just, there's less contact, but you still have to have some contact in the free walk. There's
a little bit of riding that needs to happen here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just a free for all and what
please
happens,
ride.
Close rise, and whatever happens. It's you can. Again, this move is about having a plan, knowing your horse, feeling what's going on, and encouraging long steps, a little bit of connection. It's not no connection, right? A little bit of connection. I like to use, my fingers a little bit if I have a horse that gets distracted. I'll use my leg a little bit if I have a a horse that
Yep.
just doesn't step out well enough.
Sometimes alternating leg aid at this
Yeah.
point is important, right?
Lots
Being able to.
lots of little things that can help improve your score. If you have a horse that has a bit of a 5 walk, you can't make it an 8 with perfect riding, but
No.
you can certainly make it a 5.5 or a 6.
Or 6,
and,
yeah.
and
That's
go home and practice and work on it. I mean, if at the beginning of the day you have a 5 walk,
Yeah.
you have to be realistic. It's not going to be an 8, but there are little things you can do to help it out.
Right. Great. So we have done the walk. We've picked the horse up. We're at H, we're doing medium walk, and C, working trot. So I think, and then you're going to ride the loop again. So C, working trot, MXF, 1 loop. So what I just say, I always remind my students, be sure that you ride your half halts. You've already done the transition from free walk to medium walk. You need to ride the half halt, balance your horse for the transition to trot, and then the loop. Because again, they're looking for willingness, a calm transition. Sometimes that's, if the horses are jigging, that can be complex. Regularity and quality of trot, shape and size of the loop, and the changes of bend and balance that we talked about before. So it's just similar. You're just doing it on the right rein now.
Yeah,
which
I think this can be the trickiest part of the entire test, is the picking the reins back up and then making your next forward transition. I think a lot of stuff can go wrong here. Like you said,
Yes.
a lot of horses anticipate and will jog a little bit. I sort of have a unique plan to each horse on how I want to kind of ride this. I use a little bit at a horse at training level. I will use a little bit of leg yield to help, balance the horse, prepare them for me picking up my reins. Depending on the horse, when you get into second level and third level where you're having to go to collected walk, you have to rely a little bit on the training. When you're in training level, you can't go to collected walk. You can't, take your reins up and really control the horse. So, I think a little bit less contact than a lot of contact is better. I think if the horse is not, you don't want to pull them really tight and compact. That can make things, kind of nervous for the horse when you do that and you snatch up your reins a little too fast. So, take up your rein really gradually. And if they are on a little bit of a longer rein until you trot, and then you can, shorten the rein a little bit, that's sort of a strategy that I try and help my students with, because you don't want to transmit all of your show nerves into your reins, into the horse's walk at this point, because if you jog, it's almost guaranteed a 4. It's a break in gait. So a little bit longer rein, I think, is a little bit better than a little bit shorter, and prepare them and send them forward. And then once you have a little bit of that trot momentum, that really steady 1-2 rhythm, you can shorten your rein a little bit further and make the horse a little bit rounder if that's what you want, what you want or what you need to do with your horse. So it's training level, so they aren't expected to be, super short and super round in the walk. So I think that's my personal advice, is just to leave them a little bit longer, a little bit. Yeah.
I like it.
That's it.
So great. So we picked up the trot now. We're going to do our 1 loop again. And then we pick up the canter to the right. Again, this is similar. We already talked about it going to the left. It's similar. Then you ride a 20-meter circle at E. Same thing. So after your 20-meter circle, again, remembering the regularity and the size of the circle, you're coming around to C, which is kind of a long way, E to C. You have to balance the horse as you make that long side. And at C, you have to do a working trot. So it's similar to what we did earlier on the diagonal. You're looking for a willing, calm transition, regularity, and the quality of the trot. I personally find that's a difficult transition because the horse is usually a younger horse or a younger rider, and the horses are a little bit strung out coming through that turn. So you just have to really watch that you keep the horse nice and balanced going through that turn. And then you do your working trot transition.
I think a lot of riders will take their leg off at this point. And, in all the downward transitions, that's a early rider mistake. The more you learn that your leg can help the downward transitions by keeping the hind legs underneath them, the better that these transitions can be. So, That's just a little tip.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah,
your leg
love
in a
it.
downward transition to make it happen. A lot of riders
Drive
are
that hind
afraid
leg under. Yeah.
to push. Yeah, they're afraid to push downwards. I think it can really help. So if you are practicing and you're working on your downward transition, keep experimenting with how much leg you can put on and still make a downward transition happen.
Yeah. So then we're coming to the stretchy circle. This is a big deal for training level. This is a big one.
Coefficient of 2 there, Reese.
Coefficient is 2. So it's B, circle right 20 meters and rising trot, allowing the horse to stretch forward and downward. Before B, shorten the reins, B, working trot. So your directives say forward and downward stretch over the back into light contact, maintaining balance and quality of the trot, bend, shape and size of the circle, willing and calm transitions. That's a theme. You hear that quite often. Yeah, I found at training level, you either do this really well and get some points, or you do it badly and and lose a lot of points. So actually, I got the tip here on our show. I mean, Phil and I also enjoy the interviews and get to hear them. But when we went through test riding, I think it was Jennifer Roth talked about how in the stretchy circle, at every eighth of the circle, so thinking there's 4 circle points in the circle, and then halfway between each point. So you do it every 8 times. You do it 8 times in the circle, where you actually supple the horse and push the horse to the outside rein. So it's a little inside hand, inside leg bump to the outside rein in the stretch. And I thought that was a really good tip in the stretchy circle, because I find a lot of my riders, they just drop the reins.
Drop the reins and pray to God it's going to go well.
Pray to the dressage God, which, trust us, your trainers are already doing that.
Yeah.
We want this to go well for you, but you need to be active in the stretch, not passive in the stretch. That's really important that you do that. So
the stretch for every horse happens kind of slowly, and it develops around the circle. So you got to think that it's developed to your horse's maximum stretch. Every horse is a little bit different, and you're trying to develop it at home, and all of that good stuff. But you want to show your maximum stretch over the 2 middle eighths of the circle, but
right.
The judge knows you have to develop it. You know you're going to get there, right? And then you start to develop back into the to the non-stretch shorter frame before you're back onto the rail and back into the test again. So I think the biggest mistakes we see is riders just throwing away the reins and hoping, and then the other thing is just riders that are afraid to ride a little bit. This has to be a ridden movement, and you don't have to go from 0 stretch to 10 stretch in 2 strides. If you take your time, the horse will understand and stay balanced better, because if you don't, they're going to run, they're going to fall back, fall to walk, all kinds of different things, lose the bend, lose the shape of the circle, lose your geometry. So, take your time, develop it. I think it's a little better to maybe stretch for a 9 and get points on all the other things than to stretch for a 10 and lose points on geometry and rhythm and balance. So, it's a bit of a mental thing you have to think about, in practicing every day and on the test day. Okay, I'm going to do the best I can. And if I don't get them to 10 by halfway, I'm not going to keep trying to get to 10 and then not be able to pick up the horse because I'm all the way down the circle and I haven't done anything to prepare the trot again. So it's very difficult movement. I really recommend watching, some videos and seeing how the pros do it, right? Because you can see riders developing the stretch and then taking the reins back up correctly while keeping the balance and the softness of the horse. I think this is a really tough skill to learn for everyone. So it's, you don't have to be great. You don't have to get 8s on your first show, or if you do, wonderful,
Great. But, yes, we've done our job.
Yes. You have to kind of learn from your mistakes in this part of the test.
Yeah. Yeah. So then we come to the center line.
Almost done.
We're almost done. Exactly. This is almost your time to give a little celebration. So the biggest thing is to sort of organize this turn. This is important. A lot of people will miss the center line. They either overshoot it or they undershoot it. You want to say, so it's important.
Turn in the test. So
it is. It's 10 meters technically, which is quite tight. And you also want to remember the judge wants to see a straight line once you get on the center line. Don't wobble because they're staring straight at you. So you really want to keep your legs evenly on the horse so there's nice support for that horse, which is really important. And you don't wobble. That's not good. Wobbling, bad. Remember that at X, you can do it through the walk and training level. That's our big tip for the day. Make sure that you do that. And prepare by riding half halts and balancing that horse. That's what you want to do. So, and also smile when you salute. Make it look like, pretend you're having fun. Relax and show the judge, like, give your horse a nice pat at the end. That's important. Don't just cower and leave. Show the judge a little bit that you're proud of your horse and you're proud of what you did. That you did a good job in your test. I think that's important. So, again, it's a show. There's some showmanship involved with it. So that's important.
Yeah. I'm going to give a little tip here and a little secret. At training level, nobody expects your horse to be perfectly straight. So I ride whichever bend that horse prefers. I ride a little bend on the center line.
That's a good tip.
Just a little. I have organized which is my inside leg, which is my outside leg, which is my inside rein, which is my outside rein, so that I can ride a balanced transition down and into halt.
Bill, you're smart.
Yeah, I think, again, the level of, you have to kind of think about the level of training of the horse. And I have to push, to keep the horse together, I have to push it from my inside leg to my outside rein. So this really works out well if your horse bends, if we're coming down the center line from the right. This really helps you if the right side is already the better side. If I'm coming from the right and the left is a little bit better side, I might just adjust so that as I come down the center, I have a little bit of time here, right? So I can adjust that. Maybe I start to put my left leg on as the inside leg a little bit, and just it stabilize the horse. Because if I have a horse at this level that is not great at straightness, and some are really great at straightness and some aren't, then if I try and ride straightness, I'm not going to have much success. But if I allow the horse a little bit of bend, I can at least make smooth transitions and an immobile halt, and hopefully have the legs organized in a more or less square way. So I don't like to, in a training level test, demand perfection from the horses, because generally it's going to be a 4 or 5 year old horse that I'm developing, not
and you want it to be a positive
10-year-old master at training level. So I have to, sort of plan my training that there's some allowances for not being the most, perfectly trained horse. I have to, I have a little tricks and a little plan, and how do I ride this horse for the best success?
I love it. Well, we hope that helps on your training level test 3, and we look forward to doing another test in the future. Well, Phil, we've got a really fun Total Saddle Fit tip of the week. As always, I will tell you, I love the Stretch Tech girth. I got the new wool fleece liner, and it's been great. And they're so nice because it's hot here. It was in the 90s. I think we broke a temperature record in Kentucky
already
today.
In the 90s? That's why I don't live there.
Well, that's weird. I mean, they went for us, our horses are actually relatively ready for it because we literally went from Florida here. And so my training horses, the Florida horses, were fine today. The other horses were dying. So we had to be a little careful. And the liner is so cool because you just pull it off that Stretch Tech girth and you throw it right in the wash, and it's ready for tomorrow. And Hello loves it. And it's just a great product. So
I think all the products we've gotten to test out and to use have been really, really good. I have not been disappointed by anything that has come from Total Saddle Fit. And I have to tell you, I've been using the 6-point saddle pad because I needed to shim a saddle because one of the horse's saddles went to to get restuffed, refitted. So for the week, I've been kind of using that. That's a great product. I've been able to sort of make a different saddle work for the horse while his saddle's getting stuffed. That's a super feature, and we always have a couple of them around for that purpose.
Yeah.
I've taken them to students and I said, listen, I think this saddle could use a little bit of a different fit. Let's try this. And, we've been able to, make saddles work for people before they take it into the saddle fitter. Great products all around by Total Saddle Fit, and Justin's awesome. So.
And you can get a hold of him at care@totalsaddlefit.com. Tell him you're calling from us. We love it. And he's always, always fantastic to everybody. So we hope that helps.
This week's dressage training tip is brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, home of the shoulder relief girth at totalsaddlefit.com.
So Phil, for our Total Saddle Fit tip of the week, I want to get your opinion on this because it actually happened in one of my lessons today. This is an event horse, and they're coming for some extra dressage training. And this rider kept saying, or in our break, it's a new student for me, and they said, going to the left, I really struggle very hard with him falling on the right shoulder. And and really worried about shoulder placement. So Phil, tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are on shoulder placement.
Well, it depends. It really depends about, what level of training, where you're at in your training. So I will tell you in the beginning, and people are sometimes surprised by this, but, in training level horses, or green horses, I tell people not to worry about it, that they can drift through the outside shoulder. That's great. What I want to see is good energy, which will give you a good rhythm, or a rhythm that you're looking for, right? Slow horses, I like a little quicker rhythm. Fast horses, I like a little slower rhythm. And more suppleness than really worried about the alignment, having perfect alignment of the horses. So this week I was teaching some students, and I had a new lesson person, and she, was really, I could see her really trying to make her circle perfect, but there wasn't enough suppleness. And so I said, hey, let's take a little bit more inside rein. Let's reduce the amount of tension you have on your outside rein. Don't worry if the circle gets a little big. Let's get this horse, really kind of stretching to the bit, and really, shortening on the inside on the circle when he's bending, and just, lengthening on the outside and allowing the horse to step through the outside shoulder a little bit. We'll fix that problem later. And, people are a little surprised by that, because we do talk a lot about, having really good geometry, but we weren't really preparing for a test, preparing for a show. So I was just looking to get a certain response from the horse, and to get the horse trying to, more relaxed, more supple, which in the end resulted in a better rhythm, because the rider's not restricting the outside rein so much. So yeah, it's a tricky question, because it like I said, it really depends. But, as you get up into second level, and, you've got all that suppleness, and you've got great rhythm, and then you want to create a little bit of collection, which second level asks for, you need to have alignment to get collection. And that's why in second level, you're riding shoulder in, travers, you have to have awareness of all four legs, not just the front two or just the front outside leg. So that's why you have to ride all those movements. And I include renvers in when I'm teaching shoulder in and travers, because that's really important. I know it doesn't actually happen in the test now until third level. It used to be in second level, but I think it got a little complicated and trying to throw in too many movements at what level. But you should have really good awareness. So it's it's not always the outside shoulder that's the problem. It can be the inside hind leg. It could be outside hind leg. It could be the whole horse drifting through your whole, through your legs. And so I think people really worry. They worry mostly about head placement. Then they start to worry about shoulder placement, but they're only worried about the things they can see, the easy things, right? And I think as a rider, you have to develop a good feel through the saddle and be aware of, like I said, all four corners of the horse. So you have to know, okay, the outside shoulder's drifting, but what are the hind legs doing? What is the tail doing? Like everything on the horse is important, not just, what's right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Excuse me. No, I think I love what you're saying, because that's actually what I said to this student. I said, actually, the shoulder is really a symptom of something else that's going on, in my opinion. Not always, like you said, it's kind of a complicated question, but in this case it was. It was really a symptom of sort of an alignment thing, a horse being in front of the leg and really, really the horse was behind the leg. It wasn't connecting from the sort of the hind leg to the bit. So when this rider would try to bend to the inside, now this is on the stiff and hollow side, and I think that actually plays a role into this, depending on what side your horse is. If you're bending on the hollow side, by definition, the horse's neck is going to go easier, theoretically, to the inside, and they're going to want to fall on the outside shoulder. That's the definition. So you have to think about, as you're asking for increased bend or suppleness, kind of plan for the fact that your horse is going to want to go that direction, because that's normal. So what you need to do is make sure that your outside leg and outside rein are sort of there to keep the alignment. And that will help a lot. So, the horse may fall, and that's what was happening in this case. The rider's pulling on the inside rein to sort of help get lateral suppleness. Well, unfortunately, it was actually making it worse, not better. So, it was absolutely a symptom. So I think that's part of it, is you have to really watch that doesn't happen. And when riders tell me, oh, they're falling out in the shoulder, that's a time that I make them stop and we have a little bit of a discussion about what's actually happening and why they're feeling that. Because again, I really tell them, I'm like, this is more of a symptom than it is a problem. And I'm like, Phil, initially, there is a time where you do have to watch shoulder placement, especially in lateral work. But I'm exactly what Phil said, is it's not something that I immediately freak out and say, oh my gosh, that really is something we need to work on. So that's kind of what we do. What I do when I think about it is something, it's a little bit of a complicated question and takes a little bit of sort of digging a little bit deeper on why they're doing that. If I do have a horse that's falling on the outside shoulder, I go to that diamond exercise a lot of times, which is, I think talked about it on the show. Less
curves and more straighter lines.
Mm-hmm. More straighter lines.
And work on 90-degree turns. So
right.
You have to kind of, what I try and do a little bit this with the same idea, and is to turn, before the actual corner of the arena, so that that you're making the turn and the horse is not just falling out. You have to imagine a new wall and really even make a little bit of counterflexion to make your corner good. But maybe you can go over the diamond exercise with us again.
So that's a great exercise. We've talked about it before on the show, but basically what you do is you think of a 20-meter circle, and now we're in a dressage ring, a 20 by 60 meter ring. You could do it in a 20 by 40 meter ring as well. You're on the 20-meter circle, and the circle, if you just look at the geometry, it has 4 circle points to make it a round circle. And so what you do is you think of riding from, let's say we're at C, we're going to ride straight to the circle point along the wall, which is, it's halfway between, the letters, Phil. I don't have a diagram.
Depends which way you're going as well.
Yeah, it depends on which way you're going.
I mean, you're not going to ride to the corner letter. You're going to ride beyond the corner letter, and you're not going to ride to the center letter. You're going to ride, before that. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to kind of figure out, what is 10 meters up the wall.
Right.
And then you're going to ride to that point.
Yep. You ride to that point, and then you make a 90-degree turn. So it's basically, that's a diamond shape, or even if you think about it as a square within a circle, you ride a 90-degree turn, you go straight to the center line, again, 10 meters forward, and then you ride another 90-degree turn. So it's a great exercise, and it really controls that outside shoulder.
Yeah, I think you start riding this around first level. When in training level you've got great bending on your circles, and hopefully you can ride pretty accurate. And then you actually go to riding this diamond exercise, because it will help you control the shoulders and help you think about developing your horse into second level. So, and you have to watch these horses in second level, because you're going to find one side is great for shoulder in, and the other side not so good. But you have to think on the side that the horse is really good in shoulder in, and you can make really easy angle, are the hind legs drifting, right? So that's what I see the most. So like you see on one side, the rider makes really, 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 steep angle, absolutely too much angle that the horse goes into 4-track. And then I have to tell them that, okay, that's great, but the horse is actually not bending because they're too steep and into a leg yield angle, and you got all 4 legs crossing. So
Right.
I have to tell these riders to really try and keep the back legs going as if they're just going along the wall. It's the same as always. And then basically from the pelvis forward, they have to be bending towards the inside until you can get the front legs onto that 3-track without pulling the nose around, without creating all this front end bend and getting stiff in a different way. So it's very challenging. I would use, we have some great mirrors at home that I use a lot.
Yep. Absolutely.
When we, I really noticed when we transition from riding indoors, in the winter, this has just happened within the last 3 weeks, to outdoors, and we don't have walls in our outdoor ring.
Yeah.
I don't like them. So now we
For
can
this
see
reason?
the horses, all these drifting problems get really bad because the
Yeah.
rider can't rely on the wall. And so in the winter, I probably should have done more lateral work on the center lines to help sort of identify that issue
the quarter
before we
line.
ever got outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the quarter line. That'll do it
center
too.
line, away from the wall, because we did not realize how much the wall was helping with the lateral work instead of the riders you have to do shoulder in with the inside leg on the girth, outside leg behind the girth, controlling the horse's hind legs as you make your shoulder in. So everybody worries about the shoulder placement, and they go, "Hey, look, I can make all the same. Like, isn't this great?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." And then you're like, "But not great."
Yeah.
It's
for
about
sure.
bending, right? It's about bending. If you're not bending, then the horse will very easily trick you and do lots of leg yield.
Yeah. Right.
Same thing with the travers. It's I got the shoulders along the wall and the hind legs are sort of somewhere. I don't know, a little bit to the inside. But then you're like, oh, you have to really define where the front legs are and where the hind legs are. That's it's important, the relationship between the two as well, and how the horse has to really bend along the spine in between the front legs and the back legs, and we have to evaluate that for the training. But the judges, for sure, will
They're going to evaluate.
and those marks, and they'll talk about that. And then you don't want to be disappointed thinking you've got wonderful shoulder in and you actually have a really nice leg yield going.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, it's really tough, and it's you need eyes on the ground. You need mirrors, video. Read the books that really define this, and watch videos that can show you exactly what it's supposed to look like, so that you can watch your own videos and say, okay, is this close enough, or what's going on? How's it different? So it's a learning process. It's a journey.
Yeah, for sure, for all of us. Well, cool. That was actually a good tip. And like I said, that happened to me. That was a really good question today. And I thought, we're going to use that tonight in the show. So I hope everybody enjoyed. And as always, we have email and Facebook shout outs, which we're always very happy to get everybody on the show. And,
wait. Before I forget.
Sorry.
I thought that I might do a meetup post on a website, or maybe on the Facebook page, for anybody who is up in Ottawa that we talked to them going up to that show. And then maybe I'm going to find a day that I'll be in the lunch tent or hanging around. That we'll see when we can make this happen.
Super cool. I love it. So everybody who's in Canada, that would have been bad. So Phil, this show will go out on Friday. We're actually recording a little bit early this week, so Phil can get ready for his competition.
Post that on the Facebook page, Phil.
Yeah, we'll put that on the Facebook page.
Exactly.
Love it.
Yeah.
We love
All right,
to
so
do
it'll probably
meetups.
be Saturday then, because if this goes out Friday, we can't do it on Thursday.
I love it. But as always, you can find our show notes and links to today's guests on our website, dressageradio.com. Like us on Facebook, just search Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
You can find me on Facebook, or my email is philip@horseradionetwork.com. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for allowing us to put on a good show. And don't forget to check out all the other shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Well, everybody, keep your heels down and your shoulders back, and we'll talk to you next week.